At this time, I'd like to introduce Mr. Rohullah Latif, President of the California State University Fullerton Associated Students.
Thank you, everyone. Usually when you're wearing a robe in public, it means you've given up on the day. But I've been there, and unless I land a career in the next 16 hours, I might be there again Monday morning. But I digress. The reason why you're here is to celebrate an accomplishment. Now, we end this journey together, but the way it began for us was different for each of us. Mine started in Afghanistan. You see, I was born in a bathtub, and because my umbilical cord was cut the wrong way, nearly bled to death. In my formative years, I've seen villages being devastated by missiles, families mourning the loss of their loved ones, and so much death. I began to think it was a way of life. By the time my single mother brought me and my 3 sisters to the U.S., I thought I was ready for anything. Boy, was I wrong. Turns out, arriving right before 9/11 and not speaking a word of English makes you a pretty easy target, right? But there was one specific bully who I remember from middle school and high school who would constantly push me, shove me, humiliate me, and made sure to make my life a living hell. Over and over again, I would hear these words, Rohullah, you can't, and you can't. A few weeks ago, I was at a liquor store. One morning. It wasn't that type of morning. Wasn't wearing a robe, just buying milk. And I heard a familiar voice behind me. Turned around, and it was the voice of the bully. It was my bully. He recognized me and said, Rohullah, I've heard all about things you're doing. How are you doing? Turns out he was also buying diapers and formulas and all the things. At that moment, my throat went dry. My body started shaking, and all the emotions from my past came back. He became the physical manifestation of all the adversity and hopelessness I'd ever faced in my life. I wanted to scream, I wanted to attack, I wanted to hit him. Instead, while I was paying for my groceries, I paid for his too. Literally bought the man food and diaper for his children. Rohullah, he said in dismay, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? Turned around and I said, do you remember that one time you used to tell me that I can't do anything? He said, yeah. What about it? And with a big smile on my face, I turned around and I said, because I can. Graduates, on your journey to this triumphant day, each of you have faced your own adversity, your own hopelessness, and your own bullies. But the very fact that you're here today tells me that you've found a way and you've persevered. You've discovered that regardless of the obstacle before you, with the power of education and perseverance, you can. But make no mistake, as we venture out into the real world, more bullies are headed our way. They may not be in physical form, but they stand as obstacles to our dreams. But we are now lifelong Titans, and Cal State Fullerton, our alma mater, the largest and proudest CSU in the state, led by Dr. Garcia, has prepared us to not just face those adversaries, but to conquer them. To not just pursue our dreams, but to achieve them. To not just find a job, but to build a career. And as graduates of this great institution, you are ready. And anyone that tells you you can't is just plain wrong. I can, you can. We can take on the world, and we will. So, Titans, let's get to it. Thank you.
Thank you, Rohullah. It is now my pleasure to ask Trustee Adam Day to come to the lectern to confer the honorary doctorate degree. Trustee Day.
Thank you. Since awarding the first honorary degree in 1966 at California State University Fullerton, the Board of Trustees has awarded, on the recommendation of this university, only 16 honorary degrees. Today, we present the 17th honorary degree to be presented at Cal State Fullerton. This award is reserved for those who have made significant contributions within their fields and in so doing have enriched our state, country, and the world. I would at this time like to ask President Garcia, Dean Anil Puri, and Mr. Richard Davis to join me at the lectern.